Many cases that were unsolved for decades were eventually solved as a result of technological developments, thorough investigation, or the discovery of new evidence. Which case took the longest to resolve ever? Which case is the most well-known in history? Here are 5 noteworthy cases. Number 5. Golden State Killer. A mysterious man known as the Golden State Killer stalked California from 1970 to 1980, leaving a trail of terror in his wake as he committed several rapes, killings, and break-in various jurisdictions. Law enforcement organizations and local communities were plagued for decades by the specter of this elusive predator, who appeared to attack without warning and disappear without a trace. The case remained unsolved despite thorough investigations and ceaseless efforts to capture the offender, leaving families and survivors to deal with unanswered questions and unresolved trauma. It also cast a long shadow over the memories of those affected. But in a startling turn of events, the case made headway in 2018 when the authorities declared that former police officer Joseph James had been apprehended as the long-hunted Golden State Killer. The nation was shocked by the arrest when information about Joseph's purported crimes and the laborious process that resulted in his identification became public. Law enforcement agencies used state-of-the-art forensic technology and creative investigative methods to link Joseph to several crime scenes throughout California by using DNA evidence to link him to the crimes. For many of the victims and their families, who had been waiting decades for justice to be served, the arrest provided a sense of closure. It also symbolized a victory of cooperation and tenacity, highlighting the effectiveness of contemporary investigative techniques and the commitment of law enforcement personnel who never gave up on pursuing justice. The Golden State Killer case served as a sobering reminder of the lasting impact of unsolved mysteries and the significance of never giving up hope in the pursuit of truth and accountability as Joseph went on trial for his alleged crimes. Number 4. Zodiac Killer. The public was terrified by the mysterious Zodiac Killer, who stalked Northern California in the late 1960s and early 1970s, sending cryptic messages to authorities and carrying out a string of vicious killings. Because of his connection to the media, the Zodiac Killer has captured the attention of the media. Not long after his first murder, Zodiac started threatening newspapers with coded messages. His signature, a circle with a plus sign over it, was how he signed these letters. He sent a cipher that said, "This is the Zodiac speaking," which went viral. After this call, there were 13 encoded symbols that were meant to represent his name. This code hasn't been cracked as of yet, and the case of the Zodiac Killer is still open, despite the fact that there have been and still are suspects coming forward. However, no one has been identified as the Zodiac Killer in real life as of yet. The killer's identity remained a mystery despite a fierce manhunt and extensive media coverage. He left a trail of unsolved killings and enigmatic clues that puzzled the investigators for many years. The murders of Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday, a young couple, in December 1968 near Vallejo, California, marked the start of the Zodiac's reign of terror. The murderer claimed more victims during the ensuing years, challenging authorities with cryptic letters that included ciphers that were supposed to provide clues about his identity. Recent developments in the case have resulted in new developments, such as the use of DNA evidence to narrow down suspects and potential leads, thanks to advancements in forensic technology. Even though the identity of the Zodiac Killer has never been proven beyond a reasonable doubt, the case has never failed to capture the public's interest, leading to numerous theories, books, and movies that explore the mysterious person behind one of the most famous unsolved mysteries in American history. Number 3. The Disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa. One of the most persistent mysteries in American history, Jimmy Hoffa's disappearance captivated the public's attention for many years. Hoffa, a well-known labor unionist and past president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, disappeared without a trace from a restaurant parking lot in the Detroit area, leaving a trail of rumors and controversy in his wake. Hoffa was a target for organized crime and law enforcement because, as the head of the Teamsters Union, he had a great deal of power and influence. His aggressive attitude and purported connections to members of organized crime stoked conjecture surrounding his disappearance, with explanations ranging from labor movement disputes to mob associates retaliating. Hoffa's whereabouts and fate remain a mystery despite countless searches, investigations, and reported sightings over the years. Numerous books, movies, and conspiracy theories have been inspired by this case, and every new lead or development piques the public's curiosity about the long-standing mystery. Law enforcement organizations have been following up on leads and re-examining evidence gathered during previous investigations using new developments in forensic technology in an effort to solve the case in recent years. Nevertheless, Hoffa's disappearance continues to be one of the most puzzling unsolved mysteries in American history, leaving a trail of mystery, conjecture, and unresolved issues that arouse people's interest. Number 2. The Lady of the Dunes. For decades, investigators have been baffled by the unsolved mystery surrounding the Lady of the Dunes, which dates back to 1974. The identity and cause of death of the unidentified woman found dead in Provincetown, Massachusetts' sand dunes, remain a mystery. She had died for approximately 2 weeks, judging by the state of decomposition of her body and the presence of insects. Although she was brutally strangled and almost beheaded, the cause of death was a blunt force injury to the side of the head. There was evidence of a sexual assault that most likely happened after death, but there was no sign of a struggle. The angle of the blow to the head suggests that her attacker may have actually been lying close to her. There were several missing teeth and the absence of one forearm and both hands. She was finally identified by officials as Ruth Marie Terry of Tennessee only in October. Since then, Terry's late husband Guy Rockwell Moldavan, who wed her just months before she vanished, has come under closer inspection. In the 1960s, he was also a major suspect in the deaths of a stepdaughter and another of his wives in Seattle. Moldavan passed away in 2002. State police discovered that the couple had visited her family in Tennessee after getting married, driving what was thought to be Ms. Terry's car upon his return from that trip. Mr. Moldavan told witnesses that Ms. Terry had died. Galaboy stated in a press release that Terry's family never saw her again. Authorities came to the conclusion that Moldavan was Terry's killer based on the results of their investigation. Regarding the discoveries made during the investigation, they did not disclose further details. One of Massachusetts' most enduring and complex murder mysteries was the death of the Lady of the Dunes. Number 1. The murder of Maria Ridolph. One of the country's oldest unsolved murder cases is the 1957 killing of Maria Ridolph, a tragic and puzzling mystery that plagued the small town of Sycamore, Illinois, for more than 50 years. On December 3, 1957, 7-year-old Maria Ridolph disappeared from a street corner close to her home, setting off a massive search and garnering significant media attention. Her disappearance remained unsolved for decades despite intensive searches and investigations, leaving her family and the community to deal with unresolved questions and constant sorrow. When Maria's body was found partly buried in a wooded area several miles from her home almost 5 months later, the case took a terrifying turn. The strong sense of community of shock and disbelief was heightened by the discovery as residents struggled. The case was dead for years, with no leads or potential suspects to work. But a turning point came in 2012 when fresh evidence came to light, which allowed Jack McCullough, a former neighbor of the Ridolph family, to be apprehended and found guilty of killing Maria. In addition to McCullough's own statements to law enforcement, the case against him mainly relied on indirect evidence, such as witness testimony and phone records. Maria's family and the Sycamore community were able to move on from decades of uncertainty and conjecture surrounding her disappearance and murder after Jack McCullough's trial and conviction. But the case also brought up issues with the validity of eyewitness accounts and the difficulties of pursuing cold cases with little physical evidence. No matter how much time has passed, Maria Ridolph's murder serves as a chilling reminder of the long-lasting effects that unsolved crimes can have on families and communities, as well as the value of tenacity and devotion in the search for justice. The resolution of these cases ultimately gives hope and encouragement to those affected by tragedy, while serving as an alarming reminder of the continual search of justice and the truth in a world that is frequently changing. This concludes today's video. Please click the like button and subscribe for more exciting content.